I'm Steve Lockard, Superintendent for Carroll County Public Schools, and this is Report Card on Education. I'm happy today to be joined by Jim Rodriguez. Jim is our Supervisor of Physical Education and Health in Carroll County Public Schools, along with Chris Tobias. Chris is the Assistant Supervisor of Health Education, K-12, for Carroll County Public Schools. Welcome to you both.
Thank you for having us.
So we're really excited. Coming up February 13th at 6:30, we have a special community program that I think is going to be really beneficial for our entire community. It's entitled Navigating Difficult Waters Together, Supporting, Empowering, and Communicating with Today's Youth. I know we've spent a lot of time over the last couple of school years talking about health, mental health, wellness, tackling issues around substance abuse, the opioid epidemic in our community, navigating through some of those difficult things that our students, our teens may face as they sort of navigate some of those challenging waters of growing up and matriculating through our schools. And there's lots of supports in place in our schools and in our communities. And one thing I've learned in the time I've been here, and that is that there are a lot of collaborative efforts happening in the community to support a lot of these issues, tackle these issues, and really help our students and our communities. And this is a great example of another one. And I'm so happy and pleased with the leadership from you all in helping to support this event in our community. So today, we're going to spend some time talking about exactly what it is and learning a little bit more about some of the issues and hearing from Jim and Chris. So let's dive right in. What should someone expect if they're attending the community event, Navigating Difficult Waters Together, Supporting, Empowering, and Communicating with Today's Youth?
Well, there's going to be some short presentations from the health department, from student services. We're going to have an internet safety specialist from the Maryland State Police. Commissioner Boucher is going to share a personal story, and a panel of students, and they're all going to talk on topics such as communicating with your child, internet safety, supporting students with anxiety, depression, and substance use and abuse, because we know those are all hot topics within our community. So far, we have 25 local community agencies that are going to have booths with resources, and they're going to talk about the different programs and supports that we have for our youth in our area.
Very good. So it sounds like this is not an event for just maybe students who are in crisis or parents or families that are really struggling. It could be, but it also sounds like there are, and I think we're going to dive into these a little bit more, there are opportunities to learn about some of those resources, some of those preventative kinds of things, some of those just supports in terms of how do you talk to your child and how do you start those conversations around some of the challenging topics that you've mentioned.
Absolutely. We wanted to take a real upstream approach to this also. So people that aren't in crisis, people just looking for information on how to improve that communication with their child, could come and learn something that night.
Great. Why did you feel that there was a need to address these issues in the format of a community event?
Well, both of us spend a lot of time out in all our schools. And after having several conversations with school-based administrators, counselors, teachers, and others in the school system, we found out that there was a similar theme that was going on, and many of that surrounded around these topics that we've just discussed. One of the things that became really clear is that some of our students are having a difficult time understanding how to cope, how to deal with some of these things. They possibly lack those what we consider positive coping strategies to deal with stressors that we all have to navigate. And then another second theme that we also heard was that there are a lot of parents that unfortunately may not know the resources that are available to them within the school system or even in our community. And as a result, we felt that it would be a great idea to have a community event in which we could bring these folks together to be able to know where those resources are, who to turn to, and to be able to tap into them the best that they can.
We spoke a little bit at the beginning that we are currently addressing some of these issues within Carroll County Public Schools. I've seen a lot of this firsthand. I've participated in some of those things. But for our listening audience, let's take a little bit of time here to talk about how some of these issues are currently being addressed within Carroll County Public Schools.
As far as health education, we have lessons in kindergarten through high school on topics such as safety, setting personal boundaries, drug prevention, stress and anxiety, positive coping, stress management. Our school counselors come in and they touch on many of those same topics when they do lessons with students. We have our media specialists that work with internet safety and with boundaries and being digital citizenship wise, I guess you could say, when our kids are on the internet, that they're doing those things that are appropriate to do online. At the middle school and high school levels, there are currently 8 schools that have Sources of Strength programs. Sources of Strength is a peer-led suicide prevention program at its roots, but it really promotes connections between youth and caring adults, and it teaches kids help-seeking behaviors in times when they are not in crisis. So those times when they may be experiencing any type of crisis, they have a pathway to help. The ultimate goal of that program is to teach people, not only kids, but the advisors in the community, to rely on their strengths that they have in their lives, to connect them with others, to spread a message of hope, help, and strength. This program is going to eventually be in all of the middle school and high schools in Carroll County Public Schools. We have things such as the Drug Expo that we send every 8th grade student to. We also send students from the Career and Technology School to that expo to learn more about these community partners, because one of the things that we are so lucky about within Carroll County is the agencies that are there to support our students and our school system.
Right. Well, I'm glad you mentioned really probably just the tip of the iceberg of some of the things that happen in our curriculum and as part of the programming for students in Carroll County Public Schools. I know that we are one of just a few, or maybe the only school system that has a dedicated health instructor at all our elementary schools, maybe the only one in Maryland, and that we are responsive to the changes or the trends. I think it's important for folks to know that as different challenges or different things are happening nationally or even locally, we're looking at our curriculum on an ongoing basis and incorporating, when it's appropriate, changes to the curriculum to address some of the sort of ever-evolving challenges that we face as a school system, as a community, and as a nation. So I'm very appreciative of the supports in place. I'm really thrilled about Sources of Strength, getting that in so many schools already, and the vision to expand to all of our schools. There's nothing more important than trusted adults for our students to take advantage of and peers to help support all of our students. Who are some of the community partners and agencies that will be attending the February 13th event?
So far, there are about 25 local agencies that said that they've wanted to be a part of this event, and we're still accepting more agencies through the beginning of February. There'll be local agencies representing behavior and mental health, substance abuse prevention. The Maryland State Police, as well as our local police department and SRO officers, have wanted to be a part of this. After-school programs like Girls on the Run, the Boys and Girls Club. We have suicide prevention support agencies, the health department, who has all kinds of different supports that they offer, whether it's on vaping, whether it is on vaccines. They have a lot of different supports for our community. The state's attorney's office, the Marriage Relationship Center will also be there. We have information about some of the supports that are offered directly through Carroll County Public Schools that are also going to be at this event.
Fantastic. Well, we all know how important general health, mental health, wellness is for all of us. But particularly if we want our students to learn and we want to have an environment that's conducive to learning, these things are important, and we have to take a look and address those and support those the best we can. You mentioned the, I think, wonderful menu of resources and the collaboration that exists in Carroll County across our government agencies like our health department, our nonprofit organizations, our school system. We're all working together to support students and families, and this event will be a fantastic opportunity for folks to learn, to be educated, and to take away some valuable resources that can support their children, their families, and our community in general. Chris and Jim, I want to thank you for your leadership and involvement with the event coming up on February 13th at Winners Mill High School beginning at 6:30. It's entitled Navigating Difficult Waters Together, Supporting, Empowering, and Communicating with Today's Youth. We're very excited about that, and thank you again for your support of that important program.
Thank you.
Once again, my guests today have been Jim Rodriguez, Supervisor of Physical Education and Health for Carroll County Public Schools, and Chris Tobias, Assistant Supervisor of Health Education K-12 for Carroll County Public Schools. I'm Steve Lockard, and this has been Report Card on Education.